Psalms 101, 102, and 105. And we're going to try to name them as well today. So let's get started with this. Okay, this one was from King Jehu. I love the way this guy speaks here. I love YHVH'S justice for us. I will act wisely to the blameless. As I walk in my house, I will have integrity in my heart. I will set no worthless idol before my eyes. I hate the deeds of those falling away from YHVH. It will not fasten its grip on me. Their perverse hearts depart from me. I will know their evil and I will kill them. I love that part. Who has a haughty look with an arrogant heart will leave from me. My eyes look for his faithful. My eyes look for his faithful. His believers. YHVH'S faithful, and in our land they will live with me. Who walks in his way of life for us will serve me. For who practices deceit will not dwell within my house, and who speaks falsehood will not maintain their position before me. For every day I will kill the wicked and those evildoers. Evildoers in our land, to remove them from my cities for YHVH. Any one of them sinning. Remove them from my cities, and anyone sinning. And anyone sinning. Okay. I like this guy. But then again, if you aren't zealous for our Creator and obey His laws, you just don't care, I guess, that He was to kill off everybody that was not one of the sins that's not obeying our Creator, is not to have any other creator besides Him. So the thing here is when they turned away from our Creator, the land was polluted. I love YHVH'S justice for us. I will act wisely to the blameless. As I walk within my house, I will have integrity in my heart. Now notice I didn't put palace here. A king, they didn't really have palaces. They weren't to live at a standard high above, okay, other people. I will not, but a house does mean it has servants, okay? That's why I separate the difference between a home and a house. Houses has servants, and very large though. I will set no worthless idol before my eyes. I hate the deeds of those falling away from YHVH. It will not fasten its grip on me. Their perverse hearts depart. Their perverse hearts departed from Him. I will not know their evilness. I know their evil. I will kill them. Plain and simple. Who has a haughty look or an arrogant heart will leave from me. My eyes look for his faithful. In our land they will live with me. Who walks in his way of life for us will serve me. For who practices deceit will not dwell within my house, and who speaks falsehood will not maintain their position before me. For every day I will kill those evildoers in our land to remove them from my cities for YV and anyone sinning. Like this guy. And that was 101, so let's go to 102. And this was, I didn't know if it was from King Ezek. Hear my prayer, YV, and my cry for help. And my cry for help comes to you. Hear my prayer and my cry for help coming to you. Do not hide your face from me in the day of my distress. Incline your ears to me in the day when I call. Answer me quickly, for my days have been consumed. My days have been consumed like smoke. Like smoke. I forget to eat my bread because of I forget to eat my bread because of my groaning. My bones cling to my flesh, now resemble a pelican in the desert. My enemies have reproached me all day long. Those who deride me use my name for. I'm going to have to find out what the word deride, if they have another word that can be used. To First, it's arrogant, once, boasted 10 times, deride once, and we found it. But it also says praise, give glory. Then it gets to madness. And then it's fools. But it's praised or praised over 100 times. Those who praised me now use my name as a curse. Yes, my enemies have reproached me all day long. Those who praise me now use my name as a curse. But you lifted me up and will cast me away. My days are like the lengthened shadow, and I will wither away. But you live forever, and your name is for every generation. You will rise up. Will you rise up for us again? Will you rise up for us again and have compassion on us in Jerusalem? In his days be gracious. In his days be gracious to them. I'm going to have to change it to them, because he's talking about the future. For his appointed time will come. Let his servants find pleasure in him. Let his servants, not really pleasure, find favor. Find favor with him. Let his servants find favor with him. And then let their kingdoms fear your name, YV, and every king on earth too. For YV, let us build up Jerusalem. Least, let their kingdoms fear your name, YV, and every king on earth too. For YV, let us build up Jerusalem, for him to appear in his glory. Will you regard my petition and not despise my words? This is written for our descendants to come, that his people will praise Yah. Praise Yah. I don't think I need it bold. Will you look down from heaven, and will YV gaze upon the earth, to hear the groaning of our captives and free our doom from death, that they speak of you, YV, and praise him in Jerusalem. When our people are gathered together, and let our tribes serve him. Let's see, that they speak of you, YV, and praise him in Jerusalem. When our people are gathered together, let our tribes serve him. Your years are throughout all generations, for you created the earth and heavens. They are the work from your voice. They are the works from your voice. Our Creator said, and it was. Okay? So when it talks about him using hands, this guy knows the answer. But even they will perish. Even they will die out. Even they will die out. You will be, for you are. Let our children be his servants, and their descendants be established before you. The way I was reading it, I was also trying to put myself and kept thinking about this king, and would he be the one to say this? And the only thing I can think of is right here, because the way the people, the Assyrian captain came to his front door at the gate and cursed against our Creator, and they weren't strong enough to go out and battle them. And he's the only king I can think of later that would be able to do this. So I'm gonna make it yes. Let's see. Words by King Zeke. See, here is the words that I'm going to hopefully use someplace else, because this does talk about his weakness or his illness that he had. We'll okay, I think that's as much as I can quickly sort out what was there. And that's 102, 105 is next. Let's see, 105. Give thanks to Yah and call upon his name. Make known his deeds. His deeds among the races. Sing praises to him and speak of all his wonders. Well, they aren't really wonders. Oh, speak of all his victories. Since our Creator called him holy, and since David called him the Holy One as well. Okay, I'm going to color these red. But I don't like the word glory in his name. Speak of all his wonders. For you will have glory in his name. Praises to him and speak of all his wonders, for you will have glory in his name. Let the hearts of those who seek YHVH be glad. YHVH is his strength. We are to seek his face continually and remember his wonders he done. Well, these would be the plagues, is when they're talking wonders. His marvels and his judgments for us. Remember his wonders he done for us. For his marvels and judgments. Yeah, I'm going to have to put for. See, I don't know which one it was that I was doing, but it was wonders that he'd done for us. That's what they considered them. The Israelis considered them marvels for his marvels and judgment for us. So I'm trying to make sure that that is the same way here, so when they come across the word marvels, it's being read the same way. And remember his wonders he done for us, for his marvels and judgments. Remember his wonders he done for us, for his marvels and judgments were for us, uttered by his mouth to sons of Abraham. I'm thinking then to his servants. Yeah. Uttered by his lips. I need the words lips here. Another thing I learned, your tongue speaks, but your lips utter. Okay? To the sons from Abraham. Then to his servants, sons from Israel. Then to his servants. The sons from Israel, they became his chosen ones. He is YV, our creator. YV created us. Created our nation. And his promise is for everyone on earth. YV created our nation. And this has got to be his nation. Our created our nation. Nation, I'm using the word nation, not kingdom, because they were 12 tribes and they were worked together and they had a judge over them, but the only thing is the tribes pretty much ruled themselves, meaning to govern over their own people, their own sons and descendants. And his promise is for everyone on earth. He remember his covenant is forever. He remembered his promises. Are forever. His words he commanded for them. He made his promise with Abraham, and he swore them to Isaac. He swore them to Isaac. Then he confirmed them to Israel and to Israelis. His everlasting promises, saying to them, I will give the land for Canaan to be portioned for their inheritance. When they were only few in number, he permitted no people to harm them. Oh, this is out. That's just out. Well, let me see here. Yeah, out. Then he called for a famine upon the kingdoms. He broke the staff of bread. He sent his son before them, for Joseph was sold as a slave. His master put his feet in chains, for he was put in jail until the time of his promise. Then it came to pass. Came to pass. And I'm going to have to make this as his word as promise, meaning this is the then that came to pass, as was his promise, that their king sent and released him, the ruler of peoples, the ruler of races, set him free. He made him lord of his storehouses and over all his produce. Then he imprisoned his brothers to teach his elders his power. Then he sent for his father Israel. Thus Israelis traveled to the land Egypt. Israel traveled to the land for Egypt, and he caused his people to be very fruitful, and made them stronger than their neighbors. Then YHVH turned their king's heart to hate his people, and he dealt harshly with his servants. Then he sent Moses his servant, and Aaron whom he chose. Now, the story about Aaron is quite unique because you have to understand who he was. See, the story isn't saying anything, and I know all the text doesn't say, but you have to understand. If I started saying that, how did Moses and Aaron just get to walk into the palace and say, "I'm here to see the king," and he gives them his presence? Well, that means that Aaron has to be able to speak two languages, one Egyptian and one Hebrew, and then he was to pass on the king's message to them. So he was the liaison for the king, and the king had to have chosen him, and that's why they just let him through. Okay, so but the text doesn't tell you who Aaron really was, whom he chose. Then he brought forth his wonders. See, here's the wonders, his plagues in the land for Egypt. Now, this was when I know that there's text that's out of order here. Okay, let me, because this is 105, I need to correct this. I need to find out where I've got that text at. Maybe I got it on my desktop. 10 plagues. Okay, here they are in order. And let me see if this needs to be taken over here, and this needs to be stuck over here like this. Now, darkness is number 8, okay? So, what goes where? So the first one is he turned the water to redness, caused the fish to die out. So we're going to move this to here. Move that. Now it's the frogs. And now we have the frogs. Now we have the flies. And again, this is swarms of insects. I'm going to take this and move it. And then swarms and insects were everywhere in Egypt. Okay, now that goes next. Then I guess I don't see sores and the livestock died out. So we need to have then he sent then this plague killed. Now, I don't know if it was all their livestock, so I don't think it could have been. So he killed some of their livestock. And caused sores, let's see, upon the Egyptians. Okay, now this needs this, and needs this, that I added that. Okay, now we have those two. Now hail whoops, let me copy it and delete it, add it up here. He sent hailstorm. He sent hail. He sent hail, and it rained like fire in their land. It didn't rain like fire, and he sent hail and rain. Actually, for the first time in their land. And that's the correct story. Next, he's got locusts. Isn't it nice when we have text that we can go to and correct this story? I mean, gee, you know that they knew that it was passed down from their descendants. Our forefathers passed it down, passed it down, passed it down. You would know that they knew the story. Now comes the locust, then the darkness. No, he sent darkness to make it dark, he sent darkness to make daylight dark. And I'm just going to divide that and get rid of all these words. They did not rebel against his word. Okay. And these, just like last time, they're forgetting the Passover, what the meal. He had them celebrate with a ram with a dinner of ram. Had them celebrate with a dinner of ram. Then he killed all their firstborn sons. Okay. Now that is the truth. And we've now got it in order. And, just boggles the mind. 2,000 years and nobody would want to correct that text. Now you know they're the bad guys for sure. Then he led them out, taking their silver and gold. And among his tribes not one stumbled. Egyptians were glad when they left. And this, I don't know if it's okay, because what we're missing here is now the story of the Red Sea. He led them by his cloud. And this we know is not true. And and a pillar, pillar of fire by night. Although I should just do it like this. By night. Then we have the Red Sea. And I'm just going to do this. I'm not going to add the text. I just want everybody to know that. And then okay, now this is out of order as well, because they complained about water first. From the rocks flowed out like a desert, in the desert like a river. They asked, and he brought quail, and said, and also satisfied them with manna from heaven. For he remembered his promise to Israel, and he brought forth his descendants as his nation. Then he gave them. Notice there's no 40 years here either. I mean, this is the second story with absolutely skipping over 40 years. So that's the thing. There was no 40 years, okay? Just extra proof here. Then he gave them the lands for other kingdoms, and they took possession of. They took possession from them, for them to keep his statutes and obey his commandments. I'm going to get rid of this and just know that there's might be two of these that are missing here, so I'm just going to go like this and put a second one in here. Okay, I think that's the answer. I'm going to read it one more time, and I'm going to do it quickly to myself here. So, give thanks to Yah and call upon his name, make known his deeds among the races, sing praises to him, speak of all his wonders, for you will have glory in his name. Let the heart of those who seek YHVH be glad, and his strength, YHVH is his strength. We are to seek his face continually, remember his wonders he done for us, his marvels, judgments were for us. He uttered his lips. He uttered his lips to the sons from no. He told his marvelous judgment for us. He told his promises. He told his promises to the sons from Abraham, then to his servants, the sons from Israel, they became his chosen ones. YHVH created our nation, and his promise is for everyone on earth. He remembered his promises are forever, his words he commanded for them. He made his promise with Abraham. Well, that's a double. This is not needed. This is not needed. Because his marvels and like I said, those are plagues, and they're marvels for them, wonders to everybody else. And then this, not this, but here. Whoops. As, and then all this is not needed. Now let's see, as well, his marvels and judgments were for us, as YHVH created our nation, and his promises for everyone on earth. For he remembered his promises are forever, his words he commanded for them. Were his, when he made his promise. This has to be when he made his promise with Abraham. Yes, this promise for everyone on earth, I've showed that text before. It starts with Abraham. For he remembered his promise. Promises are forever. His words he commanded for them. Then he made his promise. When he made his words he commanded for them. When he made his promise with Abraham, and he swore them to Isaac. Then he confirmed them to Israel, and to Israel his everlasting promises. That's how they became the nation. But these two look like they should go down farther. Okay, I think that I'm going to move them down. But for right now, I want them to be like that. For he remembered his promise forever. Seek his face continually, for he remembers. His promises are forever. His words, remembers his promises are forever. And his words he commanded for them. And for them, when he made a promise with Abraham, he swore them to Isaac, he confirmed them with Israel, the everlasting promises. Now let's see how it reads right here. As ever, Then he confirmed it to Israel, and to Israel his everlasting promises. He confirmed them to Israel, and to Israel his everlasting promises. It's kind of like this word fits at the end of that. And to Israelis, his everlasting promises he remembered. I'm going to put him there. I'm going to put him there. And I need this one up here. And he confirmed them to Israel, and to Israel's his everlasting promises. He confirmed them to Israel, and well, this is only a promise to bring them back to their land. He remembered his promise is forever, and the words he commanded of them when he made his promise with Abraham, and he swore them to Isaac. And he swore to Isaac. Well, he did say, and I guess I have to leave them in there because the promise was to bring back, the promise was also to make kings. So there was a few things in a nation. Then he confirmed them to Israel, and to the Israelis his everlasting promises. This word can't be here. And to Israel his promise was remembered. The wonders he done for us, for his marvels and judgment were for us, as why he created our nation, and his promises for everyone on earth. Yes. Okay, I think that's where that belongs. I don't think it belongs here, because now it's actually in order. Okay. Saying to them, I will give you the land for Canaans, to be portioned for their inheritance. Because he's speaking to us, saying to them, I will give the land to be portioned for their inheritance. Yes. Then when they were only a few in number. Now this is not really few in number. They had enough for an army. Okay, they were able to go in battle. So how many is that? In their eyes, maybe few was maybe what, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 people. because this here is, they can't be few in number. When they were only few of men. That number, men. When they went to war, you got to remember, they just got done killing all the sons of males for Israelis. So it has to be when they were only a few of men, and only they were a few of men, and only there was a few men. Because if you know the story, they had to be over 25 to 50 to go to battle. When they were only few, I think that's better. When they were only few, when they were only few of men, I guess. I got the words. I want to rewrite that whole verse. When they were, I guess get rid of that word, is the one that's giving me problems. When they were few of men, yeah, because this way, when you think of how many people they led out, and this number has been bugging me, because when they left, what did they take? And yes, I know the silver and gold, but the thing here is when they got into the Sinai, our Creator made them make his tent for meeting and his fence that goes around, and they were all out of a length of like a 10 cubic long board by a cubic and a half. Now these are some large planks, so that means they had these carts that they were using to haul the bricks around. This would have been why those were that long and that big and that thick. And then when he's using hundreds of them to make his tent and his flooring and his fence, now you see how many people were going or were leaving, but they still had a few men only for war. So what is there? Maybe 300,000. And remember, Joseph's sons, their descendants were marrying Egyptians. So there were Egyptians that went with them into the promised land. And they were few of men. When they were few of men, he permitted no one to harm them. But that's the story. Okay. And they were few of men. Then he called for a famine upon the kingdoms. He broke the staff. No, this is all out of order. Because I was thinking that was the traveling into Egypt. Now this is the story of going. So all this needs to be moved. And I can't put it anywhere. I need to take it out. This is going to get taken out. But I'm going to actually say it can be used someplace else. Even though I've got it reordered, that could go someplace else now that it's correctly in order. But that's going to be out of this text. This is going to be gone, but I need to save it right now because I'm gathering pieces for later. But that's what just happened. All that figuring and trying to figure out what was going on at that time, when how many people. That's important to think about, though. No doubt about it. But that's going to be it for this one. And it was fun doing this one, cleaning it up, because I was trying to make sense of the story when I read it faster. And that's the name of the game, is to be truthful when we're done and not have it all garbaged up.